It is story time. What we talking about today? We're talking about the woes and the wows of entrepreneurship. Um, I don't even know where to start because there's just so many things I want to share with you guys. Okay, let me dial it back, relax. So I wanted to pop in and pop on to share. So I did something that I'm extremely proud of. I wrote a ebook, and I know most people are like, okay, who cares? But the truth is, it's been on my heart, it's been on my mind. But I finally put the pen to the paper. Literally, I write things down first, and then I type them over. Um, and so I wrote an ebook about mindset shifting and spiritual fasting. And so, before I get into all of the juiciness that's in the book, I want to let you know why I am qualified to write this book beyond the fact that God told me to do it. So, when God tells you to do something, it doesn't matter what the people think, right? But I'm here for proof factors. So, six, not even 6 months ago, October 2023, let me paint the picture for you. So I'm in Miami. I've been there for 11 years. I moved from Chicago to Miami in 2012 simply because I wanted a better life and was there for 11 years. Living my best life. Had a bunch of amazing friends, can go to all the events in the tech world, in the art world, in the fun world. And so life was cute. I was feeling myself. It was real cute. Um, and then something happened in New York around short-term rentals. And anybody who know me, my original business model was dealing with short-term rentals. And so a light bulb went off. It said, "Oh my goodness, what are you going to do now? Like, you need to be prepared because if it happened in New York, because short-term rentals is essentially banned in New York as of Labor Day last year. If it happened in New York, what's to stop it from coming to Miami?" Okay, cool. Sat on that for a little bit, no problem. And as the time went on, people would ask, "Oh, so what are you working on?" And I'll tell them. And then one lady was like, "So how do you feel with all of this happening in New York? Are you nervous?" And in my mind, I was like, "No, I'm not." But the truth is, her question wasn't so much making me nervous as it was making me aware that it might be time for a pivot. So I allowed that door to stay open, right? Like, let's just see what comes in. Start talking to God about it because I'll be making no decisions without consulting Him first. He pretty much said, "You doing it?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I can go back and forth to New York, from New York to Miami. Plus, it's about to be wintertime. Who wants to be in New York in the wintertime? Mind you, I'm from Chicago, born and raised. But I've been in Miami for 11 years, so. Um, and so I'm like, perfect. I can go back and forth. Let me just figure this out. What does this look like? What does this lifestyle look like? And so I did a fast to be like, okay, so what we working with, God? What do you want from me? How can I show up in this time? And at the end of the fast, he was like, "Oh yeah, no, you're not gonna be commuting back and forth. You are actually moving there." And I'm like, I don't know how that works in your mind, God. Like, I tried to negotiate. Is this negotiable? Moral of the story is, he said, no, it's not negotiable. Okay, copy. So I gave myself like a weekend to get in agreement, understand, process. By December 1st, my lease was up anyway. So I was like, let me find out God timing really do be perfect. He knew what he was doing. So I gracefully closed out my lease, gave away hundreds, no, thousands of dollars worth of furniture. And I was just like, sure, let's do it. Thinking, we're going straight to New York. You said we're moving to New York, so what's up? Well, what had happened was from December 1st to May 31st, I was rerouted. I went from New Jersey at a friend's house for like a month and a half. And then I got the call that my grandmother had passed in January 25th, to be exact. So, shut down everything, went to Chicago. Well, unfortunately, we experienced a few more deaths, four to be exact. And I don't like to say deaths, homegoings, because God is God. Um, we experienced four total homegoings in the matter of 1 month. So needless to say, it was a perfect time for me to be with my family, around my family. We was loving on each other. It was all love, all amazingness, right? Even in the midst of the sadness. And so I'm like, okay, like, God, so what's up with this New York thing? What we doing? He's like, no, not right now. You need to be here. So to wrap that up in a bow, Chicago was everything. The 6 month delay was everything that I didn't know I needed, right? Fast forward, I'm like, okay, God, we're ready now. So June 1st, I touched down in Brooklyn. Brooklyn chose me. I didn't choose it. That's another story for another day. But to other people in the world, I'm looking crazy because I'm still like, well, God told me I'm moving to New York. I'm moving to New York. My family like, how long are you in Chicago? I'm like, indefinitely. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, even though this is a good time. Um, but in my mind, I was still like waiting on the opportunity. When? Now? Okay, go now. June 1st, touchdown, New York, a 30-day rental only. Family like, okay, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do after the 30 days? And I'm like, you know what? I just gotta get there and I'll figure it out. I cannot make this up. June 2nd, the next morning, pretty much keys was put in my hand for a permanent place, the one that I'm talking to you in now. And I'm like, God, wow. So it took me a solid, no exaggeration, it took me a solid 2 weeks, maybe a month to wrap my mind around how I went from sleeping on air mattresses in sofas for 183 days consecutively, by the way, to having not one place, a brownstone that was on my vision board, but a high rise, which I was accustomed to from my Miami life. I go from not having any place, virtually being homeless, right? Even though I was with family, so let's not exaggerate a thing. Um, to having two places at the same time, all in the matter of a day. So, because God works out like that for me, I had the urge to share how I got here, what it looks like, and what my superpower has been. And my superpower has been fasting. I've learned how to fast. I've mastered the fast. I've done everything from a 3 day to 31 days over the course of the last 2.5, 3 years. And I decided, let's write an ebook about it because I'm not the only one looking for a breakthrough. And I know that you guys are. So I wanted to write this ebook. I pray it's called Shifting on Purpose, a spiritual growth guidebook to accessing God and greatness. And I pray that it is going to unlock a transformational process within you as it did for me. I'll drop the link. Let me know your thoughts. Be great.